In case you were wondering, we are Canadian! Just when we thought we could return to our regularly scheduled programming, chaos has erupted once again. Alright folks, grab your toots and settle in, because today we've got a story bigger than a polar vortex in Winnipeg.
Trudeau steps down, Trump tries to take credit again, and he's still on the Trump train about making Canada the 51st state. But not so fast, Donald. Now that Trudeau has resigned, he's finally found his backbone.
Who knew? What's great is that he actually fired back with a Canadian classic comeback, saying, and I quote, "There isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada will become a part of the United States." All this is happening as Pierre Poilievre is standing in the corner, rubbing his hands together like he's trying to start a fire in a blizzard.
That's me trying to start a fire in a blizzard.
That's how you do it. Now, I know some people are worried about the political turmoil in Canada right now. And if you pay attention to any American news, they think up here in the true north, we are in complete chaos. But truthfully, Prime Ministers resign. And he's not the first. Trudeau Sr., Jean Chrétien, Brian Mulroney, they all stepped down when their parties were in a slump. Elections are called, new leaders are sworn in. It's really not the end of the world.
That is where Trump and his cronies need to understand Canadian politics. The parliamentary system is so different from the USA that it's not the end of the world if someone steps down. And just to clear it up, we've had conservative governments before and we'll have them again. But what we don't want is to get dragged into the dumpster fire of what US politics is right now. Trump has always misunderstood Canada. And the more he talks out of his little orange mouth with his tiny hands, the less we're convinced that he even knows where the Yukon is.
You know he doesn't. All we really want is for Trump and Fox News to keep their wee little noses out of our business. Kind of like when you politely ask someone to take off their shoes when they enter your house, you know. Oh wait, you don't do that in the US, right? No.
And as for Poilievre, who is most likely going to be our next prime minister, he already made it clear that Canada will never be the 51st state.
And you know what else I really hope that his supporters will start finding their Canadian pride and actually get behind that idea as well. And stop fantasizing about joining the US just to get away from the woke liberals. Oh, if I hear that one more time, I'm gonna go crazy.
And with him gone, maybe they will finally stop being so mad about the crazy stuff we have up here, like, oh my God, free healthcare and clean air and quality education.
But you know what the real question is? It's what bumper stickers are these guys gonna put on their big pickup trucks now?
The one thing I am hoping for is that Canada can finally unite again. Because you know what? Liberals, they tend to lean more center. And if their guy doesn't get in, they don't protest with a trucker convoy or insurrections. And maybe all the Trudeau guys can finally chill out.
Or maybe just go and play a game of shitty.
So Canada, we have to unite. And we have to put the word out there to the UK. Hey, King Charles, we're part of the Commonwealth. Can you step up and defend Canada, s'il vous plaît? We pay a lot of taxes to you, so maybe you could start looking out for Canada. But let's get back to Trump, because that's what really started all this turmoil in the first place. The world was such a nice place before 2016.
It really was. Oh, if we could only go back in time.
I'm just thinking about it now.
If you caught the Tariff Turds press conference lately, or like me actually read about it because I cannot stand the sound of his voice, then you might have heard the latest threat. Economic force through tariffs. But hold up, let me actually break it down for you. Tariffs sound good in theory. You think, oh, we'll tax imports and everything will be awesome. But guess who actually gets hit the hardest when the price of stuff goes up? That's right. Everyday Americans. A lot of people don't quite understand this. So picture this. You're out shopping for a shiny new TV or even new running shoes to jog away your problems, and suddenly, boom, they cost way more money. That's how tariffs work, because the US slapped a tariff on stuff coming in from places like Mexico, China, and yes, Canada. Tariffs are like that sneaky little extra charge on your restaurant bill that you didn't ask for, and it gets passed straight on to you at checkout. So now, you're paying for someone else's trade war. Are you in for that? I don't think so. It's not the economic victory you think it is. And now for a musical interlude showcasing famous Canadians. Because, you know, Canadians love to let people know that some of their favorite celebrities are actually Canadian. Canada's not just going to roll over. We will retaliate, as we did in 2016 when he was in his first term. And remember, we're not sitting around waiting for handouts. We're actually contributing. For example, Canada's trade relationship with the US is massive, with Canada being US's largest trading partner by volume and the US being Canada's biggest export market. But here is where it gets really interesting. Well, Canada does buy a lot from the US, but we're also a critical part of the US economy. In 2022, Canada exported nearly $400 billion worth of goods to the US. That's a lot of green. And one other thing I did want to point out is something that a lot of people don't really talk about, is that how tariffs actually mess up trade. Fewer imports and exports mean less opportunity to grow, more instability, and a whole lot of frustration. And what's this about the artificial line that is the US-Canada border? This coming from a guy that draws lines to redirect hurricanes with a Sharpie? But hey, at least he didn't threaten military action like with Greenland and Panama. But let's be real here. Trump's vision for the world is starting to look less like a leader and more like a wannabe dictator in a bad reality show where everything is for sale. And oh, the headlines just keep getting better and better. And it's this I hear about him wanting to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. At this rate, he's probably brainstorming names for Hudson Bay.
He's probably going to call it the Bay of Trump Tower. It certainly will fit his ego. And next thing you'll know, he'll probably try to slap a Made in America sticker on the Northern Lights.
If there's one thing Trump has made clear, is that he has a lot of global ambition. Trump is kind of like the kid at the playground who thinks if he kicks over other kids' sandcastles that he'll somehow get their toys. He's just a classic bully. But instead of sandcastles and instead of toys, it's actually more power. He just keeps poking at other nations and poking the bear, trying to take more and more and more. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon.
Now, speaking of Trump's plan to take over other countries, we got to talk about Greenland for a little bit. Now, you should have heard by now that Trump sent Don Jr. there to Greenland to negotiate. But let's be real. He's not after Greenland itself. He's really eyeing the Northwest Passage. It's that shortcut through the Arctic that could shave days off of shipping routes. And Greenland is a treasure trove of minerals and oil beneath that icy surface.
And trust me, Don Jr. won't find the snow he's looking for in Greenland.
And now Trump has done his usual bullying and says, I'm going to put tariffs on all of your goods if you don't give me Greenland.
Hey, listen, man, this isn't the 19th century, dude. We're not going around colonizing places because we think they belong to us. So listen, Trump, a message to you: keep your tariffs, your buy Greenland plans, and your reality show. If you want to collect things, maybe try collecting a few more lawsuits, because you've got plenty of those and you seem to be really good at it. All right, that's it for today. Stay cool, stay Canadian, and remember, No one tells us what to do.
Not even the guy who thinks a tweet can run a country.
So as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell, because we put up new videos like this every single week. And hold on and get ready for next week, because it's the Trump inauguration, and man, we're gonna have something to say about that.